Good afternoon. It's Talk Erie and the Joel Natale Show, live from our Kingdom Financial Group studio here at 5th and State, also live on YouTube and Facebook. As we take a minute here and talk about this great upcoming event coming on Saturday, October 4th, at McLane Church, 12511 Edinburgh Road at 7 o'clock. It's Mayberry Memories of Don Knotts with Bill Knotts. And with us here, we do have Bill Knotts. Welcome, Bill.
Thank you. Good to be with you, Joel.
And I want to introduce Brian Pitzer. Welcome back, Brian, from All Aboard Erie.
It's always good to be here, Joel.
And Pastor Brian Kelly here from McLane Church. Brian, I know how much you love Andy Griffith.
I love Andy Griffith. Yeah, can't wait for this event. So excited to be bringing Bill to the Erie community.
So, Bill, you are the nephew of Don Knotts, the legend, Barney Fife on the program. Really kind of made, I mean, you know, Andy's the straight man, and Barney is the comic relief there. And, I mean, tell us a little bit about, you know, growing up, how you knew your uncle there.
Sure. Well, first of all, I got to go back when you said Andy is the straight man. It didn't start out that way. If you watch, season one, Andy was the real hayseed, hillbilly, hick kind of character that he played twice previously. One was on his original little thing that he did on radio called What It Was Football. And that was this hick about a country guy who saw a football game for the first time and didn't know why these people were chasing around this piece of pig, ball type thing. And then he got he had his first starring role, and that was on Broadway in No Time for Sergeants, where he played Will Stockdale. Very similar type character. And that is when Sheldon Leonard, the producer, got him to do the Andy Griffith Show, which started on it was kind of a spin-off or a pilot on the Danny Thomas Show. Okay. When Danny Thomas is going through this fictional town of Mayberry and gets stopped by this really hick country sheriff named Andy Taylor. Anyway, that's the same character. And so it was Don, when they hired Don Knotts, Andy, over that first year, finally started figuring out that, wow, I'm the only sane guy in the asylum here. I'm a straight man. So that's as his character started changing, mostly in season one, a little bit of the hick in season two. But anyway, back to your original question there. It was a lot of fun growing up. And he grew up as Uncle Don. He's only 5 years apart from my dad. Now, my dad is Don Knotts, too. So that's kind of fun. My uncle is Don Knotts. My dad is Don Knotts. That's a story you'll have to come to the show
to learn that one. Yeah.
All that is about. It's quite the story. But I eventually got to live with Don when I went to acting school. And that just opened up a whole lot of wonderful opportunities for me.
What was he in Hollywood? I mean, did you guys grow up in California, whatever?
I grew up in Northern California, then went to Arizona, auditioned for the American Academy of Dramatic Arts, and I went out there, and Don just said, why don't you stay with me since the school's not too far away? Mm-hmm. And so I got to move in as a 19-year-old kid into this Hollywood star Don Knotts' home, and he had a party going on the night I moved in. That was exciting. So a lot of where I first met Andy Griffith, and a lot of fun things that happened with that. So,
is there any part of the show that you talk about this little pipsqueak, Opie, now known as, this, has he won an Academy Award yet as a director?
He has. He
Ron Howard,
for Beautiful Mind. He won.
Oh, for Beautiful Mind. That's right. Wow.
Mr. Howard. Now he's not little Opie or little Ronnie.
Wow. Again, really kind of an amazing child actor. So tell us about your show. Like what can folks expect on the October 4th down in Edinburgh?
Well, I expect to have a lot of fun. I hope the audience does too, but I hope they're educated and entertained, and we'll have a lot of fun, little interactive stuff going on. But, we're going to start with a little bit of the Knotts family history, a lot of Don's early career and, his struggles. A lot of people think he just, showed up and made it, but he was 35 years old when he got the part of Barney Fife. So he had been struggling for a while, even though he had some success on the Steve Allen show and some things before that. So we'll talk a little bit about that. Certainly, we're going to talk about the Andy Griffith Show with a lot of clips, and I've got stories that Don had. I've got some stories from Tim Conway and Andy Griffith. and Ron Howard, some of the stories that I experienced with Don, more clips of the Andy Griffith Show. And so, yeah, we'll have a lot of fun with that. And then certainly I'll end with his later career as well. So it's going to be a very quick, quick 90 to 115 minutes. You never know how long I might talk. As an actor, I like to talk.
90
Maybe
to
go
100.
4 or
Wow, that's
5
awesome,
hours,
Is there a Q&A at all?
Less than 2 hours.
Less
they'll
than
be
2
out.
hours. Any Q&A? Are you gonna? You said you're gonna have some interaction, right? Yeah.
Yes, I do. I usually will ask, I'll ask about what favorite characters they had, and whatever they say, that's where I'm going to go with it. And I'll ask for, the actors' names. Q&A, I found works better like when I'm done. If I go out in the lobby and people want to hang out, I'll stick around as long as they want and answer questions. So that'll be a lot of fun. Yeah.
That's fantastic. All right, I got to bring it over to Brian Spitzer here because you came up with this idea to bring Bill on. So how'd this all happen?
Well, you have to go back to my connection to Pastor Brian Kelly. At his church, we came to know quite well that Brian is one of the biggest Mayberry fans out there. I'll let him go into that. But my wife and I were on a cruise in March, a Royal Caribbean cruise, and they have lots of different kinds of entertainment. And Bill Knotts happened to be one of those speakers. And as soon as I saw them, I've got to tell Brian Kelly about this. So the wheels started turning. I thought we can make this maybe a little beneficial thing for our organization, All Aboard Erie, and I'm so grateful to Brian and the board at McLane Church for saying yes right away, and so here we are.
And Brian, you've been watching the Andy Griffith Show since you were a wee one.
Yes.
Since you were as old as Opie.
That's right. Grew up on a steady diet of it, and never lost my love for it. And as I moved into pastoral ministry, just saw how many powerful messages, stories, examples were demonstrated in that show. And my poor children, they had to endure a steady dose of it as well, but came to love it also. It's just such a powerful show, both in terms of its levity and comic relief, but also in terms of the powerful stories and morals represented in it.
Bill, go to that. I mean, do you get a sense? I mean, you're thinking about, here's Pastor Brian using bits of the Andy Griffith script as a sermon illustration. Was that always part, was there a moral story in that production?
There was, and Andy basically insisted on that. I'm not sure he thought it would actually be a series of sermons or Bible studies, but he did insist on that. Ron Howard even says that as well. Wow. And being a retired pastor and still currently a chaplain for a police department, I'm well aware of those things that happen in there. And one of my favorites, by the way, is Mr. McBeevy, which is a great one where Opie, I won't tell the whole story, but right. The 30-second version is Opie has this man that's walking in the trees, a silver hat, and he jingles when he walks. And, and Barney's just like, oh, my goodness. And Andy doesn't believe him. And comes a time where it's when Andy does not punish Opie for lying about this person. And Barney says, do you actually believe in Mr. McBeevy, that there's a Mr. McBeevy? No, but I believe in my son, Opie. And that's a powerful thing about father-son relationships. And it goes beyond that. That's just one of them. But yes, I'm well aware that Andy was intent on having some kind of a moral value instilled in each episode.
I can't get over the fact that how many bullets did Barney have in his pocket?
One.
Just one. Again, he carried the revolver empty, and he would struggle if he needed to load that gun there. It just reflects back to a different time, and you think about where we were. I mean, this is the '60s, right? It wasn't a cakewalk in the United States culture, was it?
No, it was a pretty chaotic time, and I think that's one of the reasons why that show is so popular. In the midst of all this chaotic things that were happening in the 60s, once a week for 30 minutes, people could find a place where they felt a sense of belonging, a sense of peace, a sense of calm, and they wanted almost to live in Mayberry. They wanted to tease Barney about his bullet. They wanted Aunt Bee to cook fried chicken for them. They just wanted to have that mental peace. And I think that is one of the reasons it was not only good then, that it has never been off the air a single day since it went on the air back in 1960.
That's remarkable. Brian Pitzer, let's talk about All Aboard Erie. And, this is a fundraiser for the work that you are doing here. Talk a little bit about your organization.
Thank you, Joel. Yes, All Aboard Erie has been around for 15 years now, and we've been focused on trying to find ways to improve passenger rail service here in Erie. And so we use these opportunities, these fundraisers, to help us get our message out, help us educate the public about the benefits that we think passenger rail service brings to Erie, brings to the country. And so we're very excited to tie this in with what Bill is doing, and it'll be a big help to us.
I'm trying to remember if there was a rail depot in Mayberry, to get a train to Raleigh. I'm not sure there was. Was there?
I think they just had to go hang out at Wally's filling station and thumb
That's right. Yeah, or go over to Mount Erie, right? I mean, they had to go to Mount Erie. It is fabulous that this is going to happen. Again, it's Saturday, October 4th. McLane Church in Edinburgh. How do folks get tickets, Brian?
They primarily just go to allaboarderie.net, and I believe the McLane Church website has that as well.
McLane Church website also,
Okay.
and tickets will be available at the door for people who just show up as well.
They can also get them on my website. I put a link on my website. Brian sent that to me, which is rememberingdonknots.com. They can go there if they can't remember anything else.
Yeah. What else is on your website, Bill? Some old photographs and so on.
Yeah, there's old photographs. There's the events where I've past shows, upcoming shows. So a little bit of story about how this started and all that. But anyway, tickets for the show coming up, the fundraiser, if they can't remember the other stuff where it was, because sometimes people will remember the celebrity connection, not necessarily what that was for. So rememberingdonknots.com, they can get a ticket right there under events. I put the link.
Finally, again, we kind of talked about how the show is going to flow on Saturday, October 4th. Is there an anecdote that you could share, Bill, of of an encounter with somebody who's come around to the shows or at the cruise ships or whatever that is especially memorable for you?
Yeah, I've got about 70 or 80 that I can shoot from. So let's see if I can find one. What I find fascinating is some of the other entertainers on the ships come up to me afterwards, and they're starstruck, not by me. I'm nobody. I'm a relative of the famous guy, right? But I happen to live with them, and so there's that connection. And so some of these other entertainers, they come up and ask lots of questions. Can we go to dinner? Tell me about Don Knotts. And that is fascinating. Here's a gentleman who's been unfortunately gone for almost 20 years. Wow. The show, he's been off the air now for 55 years. That show went on 65 years ago. So really 60 years ago, 1965, Don left that show. But here it is, 60 years later. We're talking about a show that went on the air 65 years ago. And that character, Barney Fife, for those that grew up, especially baby boomers or the kids of baby boomers that watched it with their parents, they just still think this is one of the most iconic characters in the history of television. And so that has been kind of fun to me to watch various ages still get excited about the show and how much it means to people to bring back some of the memories of their childhood as they watch the show. So it's an awful lot of fun to see the joy that brings to people.
I remember, I don't know if it was the NBC 75th anniversary. They showed a clip of him as the nervous guy. Do you know that bit? I don't know. Was that with Steve Allen or?
That was the old Steve Allen show and how he got on that. And he did it a couple times. And you can still see them on YouTube. And some of them are just absolutely priceless to watch how he did that. Yeah.
Go back to Brian Kelly here. Again, this is happening at your church. And give us one of those really particular favorites when you think about moments of Barney and Andy and so on. What do you think?
Yeah, I knew you were going to ask me that. I was
Yeah.
trying to think through because there are so many, and we've used so many at the church to illustrate different principles. But I think one of the all-time favorites is the episode where Andy is accused of malfeasance, and Barney is roped into testifying first, sort of against him, and at the end of the show. Barney has a real poignant moment where he just speaks a powerful truth about Andy, teaching him to lead and to police, not so much from his head, but from his heart. And it's a powerful reminder of, the rules are good to a degree, but there are times when our heart needs to lead, even over what's printed in black and white. And that was a powerful show, powerful message. Just saw it again the other night. Wow. As a reminder of how poignant.
I love how, what is it, MeTV has it on constantly or something like that. Yeah. And one of the last ones I saw was Andy and Barney were competing for the same girlfriend. Barney was interrupting the date. One more time on how do folks get tickets and all the particulars there, Brian.
It's Saturday, October 4th, 7 p.m., McLane Church. Allaboarderie.net is where you can buy tickets in advance, and there'll be tickets at the door, a little bit higher price, so get them in advance. Yeah. Allaboarderie.net, as well as the McLane Church.
Beautiful. Thank you so much, Bill, Brian, and Brian. This is a lot of fun, and can't wait till you come to our neck of the woods. Appreciate it, Bill.
Looking forward to being there. Thanks for having me.
You got it. You got it. It's 9 minutes in front of 4 o'clock here. All righty, guys. Thank you so much, Bill. Appreciate it.
My pleasure. I'm really looking forward to being